Hello, everybody. I hope you can see. As always, I feel like it's really hard to stream on YouTube, but I'm trying our best. I do have my bird right here next to me. She's really close to the camera. Or he's really close to the camera. He's very talkative today. So we'll see how this goes. I hope you can hear me all right. I'm going to test out the... I'm going to test out the volume from my side. Sounds good. Sounds like the mic is picking up a lot of noise. I'm unsure from where. Gonna move the mic. Okay. I think you can just hear my laptop right now. Let me just type in the chat. Exciting things are happening. I'm not sure if my volume is just too high right now. Probably is. So I'm sharing my Instagram with the chat. Where'd it go? Hello, Katarina. I was typing something. I have no idea where it went. I always post this at the beginning, but so I'll be sharing my Instagram, and then this is my official like artist Instagram, but the jewelry and the stuff that I'm making here today will be in the one that's linked in that bio. So feel free to follow that if you'd like. Today we are sanding and we're chatting. It's been a while. I don't know. Wait, how? It's been a while since I've live streamed. It's been like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. My bird is very chatty. You hear her. Um, I've been working on a commission. It's not related to any of this, or it's not even copper based. It's something new that I've never done before. And I will be sharing some of it once I'm allowed to share. But as of right now, I can't share any of it publicly. But probably soon I'll be able to post things about it. I didn't record a lot of the process of that because I was really in the zone with those projects. I did record me cutting one thing and that was about it. So I'll be likely posting a reel of that quick and maybe sharing some process pictures from the other things that, or process pictures that I took while making all of that. So I know I'm just trying to see when the last time I live streamed was. Yeah, it was almost a month ago that I live streamed on April 28th. So it's been over a month. That's okay. It's exciting to be back. Hi, Toddlock. Yeah, it's exciting to be back and at working on this. All of this is due in July. I want to get it all done by July. And I'm unsure if I'll continue or if I'm going to make new projects because I think the sanding for this will be done very fast, or if I or if I'm gonna order more material to make more of these. I'm just unsure in terms of like how they're going to do cell wise. So I'm unsure on what to do basically. I find it funny, Todd, like that you call me Madam President even here. I'm not an actual president. All right. So if this is your first time joining the live stream, we're going to be sanding things today. These are the pieces that we'll be sanding. And this is just an example that I had. I shared not a reel, but a video not long ago about the differences in finish that we have here. So it's basically the different grits that we've been using, or I've been using. So we start with 220 grit, and then we move up all the way to 2000. So we have 220, 400, 600, 800, 1000, 1500, and 2000. And to show the difference, I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but this is very flat, very muted. If I bring it close to the camera, you can see a bit of reflection of the color of my phone, but you can't see anything else. It's very horizontal. It's not doing much. But if we go to the 2001, I mean, for one, you can see the reflection of my blinds there. But then you can more clearly see my phone and even me right there a little bit. The reflection is a lot more clear and a lot sharper. And this is what we're going for in terms of the finish. So that's what we're doing today. And I don't know how many I'll get done. I'm hoping last time that I did this, I think I worked on one. And I'm pretty sure it was this one. And it took a really long time. But in real time, it doesn't really take me that long to make these. So it's a give or take, really. I wanted to check something else real quick. So yeah, I don't really know how long I'll be live for. Uh, Sanding live is really hard. You get to hear all of the noises and stuff from the sandpaper. It can be a little bit annoying, personally. But we have these here, and then all of these back here are the ones that I haven't touched at all. Well, they have been sanded with 220 grit. That's as much as I've done with these. But nothing else really. So there is a lot of them. There's 19, I believe. So it's a thing to wait and see. Sorry. Okay. I haven't live streamed in a while, so I'm just kind of like lost on what to do. I had a very specific plan, in terms of like how I was going to film this for a short. So I think that's the main thing that I'm thinking about. It's like I had these in a very specific order in how I was gonna sand them and stuff. So what I can do is work on this owl, because besides this one, which is the cat that I did in the last live stream, all of these have been touched on the back side. I only did one side to show the difference in the increase of sandpaper. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move these all back here. I don't need them on this piece of paper, and actually I'm probably gonna use it more than anything. So I'm gonna move these back here for now, and we're gonna work on this owl. But yeah, I'm kind of nervous about the sale coming up. It's supposed to be really big. It's run by a museum, and it's one of the most professional, I don't know, one of the most professional shows that I've done. And I'm just really, really nervous about it. So I hope you can see a little bit. Well, not a little bit. I hope that you can see. It's kind of nerve-wracking. Thank you, Toddlock. So I think I am, because I will be getting finer in sandpaper. I do want to wear a mask. I don't want to wear one of my thick masks just because you won't be able to hear me. So let me run real quick to get a thinner mask. And I'll be right back. All right, I am back. I hope you can hear me. This mask shouldn't be thick or anything, but I will sound a little bit muffled. I don't know if... Okay, awesome. Thanks for letting me know. I'm gonna play some music on my headphones, which you can't hear, but I need a bit of music on my side. All right, let's get started. So we're gonna start with this owl. I hope you can see a little bit. And as I've mentioned, it's already been hit with 220 grit sandpaper. So now we're going to we're gonna ascend upwards. And I'm just checking that I don't have any 200. So no, I don't. The next one is 400. That's a number right here. That's what we're gonna go with. And I will be putting gloves on for this. I also want to protect my nails because I literally did them the other day. The gloves just help with, because I grip the sandpaper in a very specific way, it helps me basically not sand down my fingers or my nails. And then because there is a lot of dust that's going to be produced, it also prevents my hands from getting stained a lot. So there isn't a lot of light today, and I'm way too close to my bird. She was about to climb on my leg. So this is how I hold the sandpaper. And yeah, so as we go, I will be collecting the dust. I collect the dust for future, what I call copper and copper paintings, and I put it all in here. So I might be taking breaks in between. This paper will get really dark, kind of like this. So it's really not a pretty process. It's a process that I don't love to showcase because it's just like super messy. It's hard to see, especially through live stream. I try my best, but not everything goes as planned, but we're gonna try our best. So I'm gonna try my best to really do this at a real time. And I'm only gonna work on one side because, as I have said, I want to basically make a longer video or more of like shorts that are talking about the sanding process, because it's really important to me, at least. So I'm gonna hold this down on one side. This is very thin, so it needs some grip. And I have the sandpaper like this, and I'm gonna be sanding what I say horizontally. So the piece is supposed to be held like this. So I'm gonna be sanding horizontally, and I just gotta remember that the owl is facing my right so I don't mess up. So we're gonna start with 200, and I'm gonna do around 10, I think I said last time 10 passes. And I'm gonna try and do this softly, so I might end up having to do 20, and I don't know if this is really loud. It's really loud for me. But that's because the grit of this sandpaper is coarse. But that's kind of what you need. Do we need to zoom in a little bit? Or get a little bit closer? I'm not counting. I forgot to count. But the other thing is I can see it visually, and you can see it as well here. you can see where I've started to sand. So the bottom here it's a little bit dirty. It's a little bit more texturized, but that's because of the gray of the previous sandpaper that I used. And as I move up, there should be a change. I visually can tell when that change is happening, so I don't usually have to counter anything. Okay, awesome, Todd. Like, thanks for letting me know. And yeah, so there's already a change happening, but yeah, visually I can see the change and everything. So especially on live stream, I end up not counting because I'm talking. And I feel last live stream I did count, and I went back to watch that live stream. And all the counting made me almost fall asleep. But you can kind of tell how brighter that is compared to the bottom that we haven't sanded. So now I'm going to flip it around and sand this part. And the darker parts are a really good indication for me that this piece is going to need more sanding. I might end up, I'm not sure if I'm going to be manually making the boxes that these pieces are going to go in. Oops. But if I do end up having to make them myself, I'll definitely live stream that process because I think it'd be interesting. I want to look up if that's possible because I think it can be cheaper to make them yourself than to purchase them. I'm only live streaming here, Toddluck. I sometimes live stream on my Instagram, but that one's a lot harder to keep up with. But I feel like a lot more people will be engaged. I'm just never on Instagram. It's my only thing. I'm more on YouTube. I'm a person who is like addicted to YouTube. I'm on YouTube all the time. So I try to basically use the platform or be more on the platform that I use the most. But that's always difficult. But on my original Instagram or my artist Instagram, I do have more followers than on the one where all of the jewelry and all of these bookmarks are being like posted on. So if I do go live, it's probably on that one, just so I get more people's interest. I think I mentioned this in past live streams, but I didn't want to have my official like fine arts Instagram be spammed with a bunch of this stuff. I like to keep both sides separated because the focus or the type of work on both sides is different. All right, so now I moved down to 600 grit. So I'm gonna, this one is not as loud because it's not as coarse. Yeah. And then I'm not always on Instagram, so I feel like I've lost a lot of engagement because I don't engage with other accounts there. While on YouTube, I feel like you don't have to engage with other content as much. You just gotta engage with your audience, and I like that more. Because I can't always keep up, and I like the story part or the feature of stories on Instagram because then I can easily see what people have posted on that day. But I've been trying to clean up my Instagram a little bit by selecting things that I want to be like posted on my feed. Because a lot of the times I get either advertisements or artists that I don't even follow. And that's really annoying to me. Because then I'm like scrolling and I don't find what I want to see. And it's just annoying. And then I also noticed this other thing for my fine arts Instagram where the format has changed. And for some reason, the format for the jewelry one is the original Instagram. Hi, what is wrong with you? Um, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. But it that also really bothered me, and it's because if you look at my fine arts Instagram, there's a very specific way in which I shared art that was more like a gallery wall than anything else. And the format that I see is not symmetrical anymore, and that really bothers me because it means that what I post I won't see symmetrically, and I don't know if other people like other people's Instagram format has also changed, and if they won't be able to see that symmetry that I supposedly created. So it's a little bit annoying, but it's fine. I'm unsure if I have to like format it a little bit different instead of squares now, but I dislike that they've changed it. All right. Anyways, I can feel a change texture-wise here with the 800, and I can visually see that it's different. You can actually see with the reflection of my finger there that it's way different. So I'm gonna move on to 800 now, and I have these pieces small. I could have left them in bigger pieces, and instead of me having to like do anything, I could rock this piece back and forth, which would be nice, but it's kind of hard to do that. Let me try it on this smaller piece. But it's really easy to do that on the sandpaper, on the paper. But it's really hard to like move this at all on the sandpaper. Unless I put a lot of force onto it. So I don't like doing that. Or I just can't. It's easier to do it with smaller pieces because for some reason you have more of a grip. As weird as that sounds. But you can also tell the difference in sound as I move up in fineness. Fineness. You can hear the difference of the sandpaper on the piece itself. Thumbs are everything. Yeah, honestly they are. Very important to have thumbs. I don't know if it's more to have thumbs. Actually, I don't know. But I know it's really important to have toes. Like not your toe, but like your big toe. Because otherwise you lose equilibrium or something. My bird is out of his cage today. I let him roam, and he's been trying to jump on my knee from the base of his cage. But he's scared. So he hasn't done it yet. I'm trying not to put a lot of pressure on the copper because I don't want to strain my right hand. I do end up straining my left hand a little bit because that one is the one that's putting most of the grip down. Anyway, I can see already that the 800 is doing its job. I can see areas where there's already reflection on the copper. So I'm gonna flip it around and move on to the other side. Imagine opening. I watched a video from a long time ago. Well, I don't want to say a long time ago, but this YouTube channel that doesn't exist anymore, or at least it's not running anymore, called SourceFed. They did a video of doing tasks without thumbs, and it was really it was really interesting because yeah, you do really need thumbs for a lot of support. Like even now, even though I'm not exactly using my thumb, it's providing a lot of balance to my fingers. And on my left, my thumb is providing some of the grip underneath that helps my left hand not get as tired. I don't know if it looks... I look at the camera and I'm just like, it's always so blurry. I don't know if that's just me. Alright. So this is looking good. I can see areas where it's getting more reflective. There you go. See? It looks like it's already had its pass of 2000 grit. But if I put it vertically here so you can see the reflection of my phone, it's not as like clear as it should be. So we're gonna continue, and now we're gonna move to 1000 grit. And this is going faster than last time. I think last time that I live streamed, I explained a lot more what I was doing. I might link that live stream in the description later on, if anybody wants to check it out and wants to know exactly what I'm doing. I won't really go into detail with that here. I don't think it's necessary. Even though I do love to like explain myself over and over. The difference is crazy, and this is me just doing it by hand and being very patient. My bird might show up in camera soon because he is slowly moving his way over here. He's crazy. And it's gonna look even crazier once I hit the 2000 grit. And I haven't even like polished these. I don't do any heavy polishing. I just use a polishing pad, which basically has like some polishing compound on there, and it just really brings the reflectiveness to the piece. So even once I hit that 2000 grit, which you can kind of, this one is the one that is 2000 grit, and you can see how it looks reflective, like it's reflecting the tree, and you can occasionally see it moving kind of like water or waves. What the polishing pad provides is just a far, not a stronger reflection. And honestly, that polishing pad has been a lifesaver, because previously I would use polishing compound on my rotary tool, and that was extremely messy. I hated that. But using the polishing pad has helped a lot on even just to, sorry, even just if, which most of these will probably have a, what do you call it, a polishing pad with them if people want to revive just the pure copper when it oxidizes. Just having that one polishing pad provides all the difference. So I like it because of that, because it's just very easy to get a client and be like, you can use this to polish your piece by yourself. It doesn't require a lot of work. It's not that complicated. He went back to his cage. He's been eating. I've been getting him to eat veggies now. He's been getting a little bit chubbier. Yeah, I mean, it's been, I'm always learning something new about copper. I'm still unable to figure out exactly, like, for example, the pennies that are provided in the US. I still don't know how most of those pennies are able to stay shiny for a really long time before they oxidize, especially if you're touching them a lot, because I don't know if it's the quality of copper or something. But here we are once again. This is 1000 grit. You can see that the reflection is now a little bit more defined. And the lines are a little bit more defined here as well for my phone. And we're going to continue with 1200 grit. Hello, RX. How are you? That's actually a good question. What question? I totally missed it. Okay. So once I get to the Signer sandpaper, this is where I have to grip a lot more, because these pieces of sandpaper almost have no grit to them. So it's really just grabbing at the copper like crazy. Oh yes, I have no idea. I feel like it's a video that I need to look up or something. There are ways that I've tried to figure out exactly. Actually, I'm gonna bring you guys in closer, because this is where the change happens. And I want you to see that change happening in real time. So I'm just gonna bring you down a bit. Still pretty good. I don't know if I'm gonna cover most of it with my glove. Hopefully not. But It's kind of hard to see actually. Unless I move it, there you go. Unless I move it back a bit. Because what indicates me everything is basically the window. But this has already had a bit of passes from the 100 and 200 grit. But you're going to see the difference in change just from me doing the passes here. And there we are. And we're going to flip it. And this, you can see that it's definitely reflective there, but it's not defined. That's the main thing. That's the thing that distinguishes the signs. So I'm going to go with the sandpaper here. And it's not only creating more reflections, reflections, but it's making the image a lot more clear. I don't know if you're able to tell. But I can tell. I don't know. In person, it's just a lot more shiny, reflective. And we're still not done in terms of the grits. So this was 1,200. Now we're gonna go with the last one, which is 2,000. In terms of how the pennies don't oxidize or patina quickly, I think based on most recent things that I've done, I think they might use an anti-acid coating or cleaning method to the copper. This is my only guess because pennies do eventually oxidize. But the thing is that if you clean your pieces with an anti-acid, or not an anti-acid, but clean basically all the acid away from the copper that might have gotten on there in one way. And a lot of it is like maybe your fingers are touching it. Your fingertips have acid. Weirdly enough, there's like a level of acidness to your fingerprints that end up imprinting onto the copper. And so a lot of the times when I'm cleaning the copper, I'm very much cleaning all traces of that acid, or even just the dust. The dust of the copper itself is very determining to the copper. So if there's any dust, even on the copper, like copper dust, that also activates the acid on your fingers, and thus also make the copper oxidize a lot faster. So my thought is that they do use some type of like cleaning method to get rid of any trace of acid, and maybe some type of coating that also helps with that. I wouldn't know what that is though. But can you see now that sandpaper is a lot more defined here? Like it's a lot sharper, and it wasn't like that earlier. Those are indications that the sanding is working. But not just that, you can definitely see the reflection there very, very well. And what this last piece of sandpaper is doing, the 2000, well, what I've been basically doing the whole entire time, and what creates this very shiny reflective finish, is that I'm moving up in grit or fineness. So it's getting rid of all those horizontal lines that I've been making this entire time. Thus, as the finer they get, the more reflective points there is. And this final one is basically ensuring that all those lines are not visible to the eye immediately. And then the polishing pad very seals that deal. Like, it really makes the piece look like it hasn't even been sanded by hand or at all. But then the polishing paddle can also point out all your imperfections. But there we are. I don't know how many passes that was. But to my eyes, it's a lot shinier. And even from back here where we weren't getting anything earlier, you can start seeing reflection that is a lot more clear. And that wasn't clear earlier because it's a lot higher, it's a lot darker. But at least, I mean, I can see it on the camera as well. It's a lot more noticeable in person, of course. But I can start seeing those lines, and I can start seeing the gaps in the tree that are reflecting the sky. And that's basically visually what you're looking for when you're sanding. And that's how you know that this piece has been really well sanded. Now for the final test, I'm gonna pick this up. And there we are on my phone. You can see where the camera is now. And before we did, well, I don't think I showed what it looked like at 1,200 or 1,500. I don't think I showed what it looked like at that point. But it was still kind of like a blob. It was just a white or light green line there. But now you can see the camera a lot better once we reach the 200 grit or 2,000 grit, sorry. So that's what we're looking for. And in terms of shininess, like I said, it's a lot easier to see it in person, but if you look at this closer, you can see that the fine lines, you can see the tree leaves and everything. That's what I'm looking for in terms of like finish, and that's how I know that this piece has been sanded to the way in which I want it. So that's what moving up in grits creates, and that's essentially what I'm doing. This is the finish that I want for the pieces. And I'm going to put it back there because that's where it belongs. And you can tell the difference between this and these other ones that haven't, I mean, these have been touched a little bit, but this one is so reflective. It's even a different color than the rest of these. So I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but that's essentially what I'm looking for. We're going to move on to the next one. And again, I'm only doing one side because I want to record the process as well later. And I have this whole thing on which, in the way that I want to film it. So we're only focusing on one side for now. But I hope that, seems like you're very shocked, Hard Luck. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Now, in terms of like the acid part that I was talking about, this cat kind of shows it a little bit. It's really shiny, but right here where it's dark orange, that's my fingerprint that kind of like patinaed the piece. And that's because my fingerprint is acidy. And so it changes, it like basically etches the copper. And copper is one of those materials that is used in printmaking. There is a process that is called etching, I think, or acid etching. And it's through copper, and I think you can also do it in zinc. But you can basically do something and etch it in acid for a little bit and then print an image off of it, which is really crazy. But again, any type of acid kind of does that to the copper, really. You don't like the shiny things? I like it shiny too. I was very much debating if to leave some of the bookmarks kind of like this, more muted, because I don't want them to be distracting when you're reading and stuff like that. But I don't think they are. I've actually been reading a book. This is, if you are interested, you can't really see it. But this is The Land of the Living by Nikki French. And I am using a bookmark here. One of the samples that I did a while back. And this is what my bookmark looks like right now. But that's the whole point. The whole point of these bookmarks is that you want to basically show how much you're actually using them. So for me, it's the more oxidized it is, the more it tells me that you've read a lot because you're constantly touching this piece. And usually when I'm reading, I do play with this. I have it in my fingers. I go like this, or I even use it kind of like as a reading mark like that. And the more you touch it, the more matte it gets. So it's like dark. It's not even reflecting like the other ones because it's gotten matter. It's gotten darker. But you can definitely, like I said, with the polishing pad, just give it a round and it's clean. You have ADHD? Yeah, I kind of like figured that you did, Cloud Luck, honestly. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But it's a nice thing to hold, I think. And I'm really hoping that people enjoy them. But anyway, we're going back to sanding. We're an hour in, or almost an hour into this live stream. So I'm going to quickly just plug in my device here to charge. Because it needs a bit of charging. But I think we might I think I might sand this one last piece and then I'll continue to do these on my own time. I think so I can film some of the process. But I really hope that you're enjoying the live stream. We have this new angle, right? Earlier we were a little bit farther up, farther away. We have this new angle which should help see the change as we go. So right now this is what it looks like. You see no reflection from the blinds. The reflection of my hand is very blurry. There's not even a reflection of the sandpaper. It's not existent. It's not even there. So we are gonna see the change as I sand. And again, 400, this is gonna be a little bit louder because it's coarser. And this one is not gonna provide a lot of change immediately. It's just gonna be the first pass of getting rid of the previous sanding marks that I made from the very coarse sandpaper that I've used. I think for me, I don't know if I have ADHD. Hi. I definitely know that I don't know if I easily get distracted. I just have a really bad memory. So I would be doing one thing, going to do that one thing, and then I'm just like, I kind of forget what I'm doing. And then I end up doing something else instead because I forgot what I was there to do. So I can tell the difference already kind of here. You can see that here that it's darker. Up here that it's lighter. So that tells me that I sanded it enough, and I'm just gonna flip it over and sand this side. Yeah, I think with ADHD, at least from my understanding, it's like you're doing one thing and then you see another thing that you can do. So you go and do that other thing instead of the thing that you were doing because you think that that thing is now a priority. Which that happens to me sometimes. I think it happens to a lot of people. But I know with people with severe like ADHD, they would just continue to do that over and over and basically get nothing done until everything is done. What's up with you? All right. Well, all right. That seems pretty sanded. All the harsh sanding marks that were there are now gone. Yeah. All right. We're moving to 600 now. The difference is really not going to show until we reach 800. But it's a slow and steady thing, really. And that just looks smoother to my eyes than before. There's really not much of a change besides visually for me. You can kind of see it here where there's some lines started to form vertically. And that means that there's a type of reflection happening. And that's an indication, again, for me visually that I've done enough. And so I can flip it over and sand the other side until I get that same visual cue. And this is something that I like about sanding copper or metal, because I also work with wood and I work with stone, and sanding wood and stone is different than sanding copper or metal, because there are visual cues when it comes to sanding those materials, but I feel like those two materials are also very unpredictable in terms of the finish. And so you do, or at least for me, I do tend to want to grab them a lot more. And to me, it seems like this piece is not well sanded. All right, so that was 600 grit. We're gonna move to 800 now. And this is where most of the change is going to happen. Again, I don't know if you're able to see those vertical lines, but from where we started, you can start seeing a type of reflection from the sandpaper which we weren't getting before. And there's definitely now more reflection of my fingers or my gloves. And once again, let's do a camera check. So if I put this up to the camera, you can see that line there that is lighter. There's no definition there of what it is reflecting. So we want to sand until we get that definition. So now we go with 800, and this is going to very much start the much more reflective side. And it's very fascinating for sure to see it happen. Can we see that? Oh, there we are. You can start seeing more of a reflection of the windowsill there. It's not as vertical, well, it's still vertical, but it's a little bit more defined. And that starts at 800 grit. It's not as defined yet, but it's a start, so that's a visual cue. Gonna flip it and gonna do the same thing onto this side until I see it essentially reflecting my window in that same way. And right now it's a little bit more noticeable in the camera than it is in person. You can see those lines now reflecting a lot stronger. All right, Tala, take your time. But I'm really trying to do this very softly, because if I put a lot of pressure, then that's where I'm gonna start straining my hand and get cramps and stuff. So there we are. If I move this, you can start seeing more of a reflection, but again, it's more vertical than horizontal, and what I want is the reflection to be more horizontal. So we're done with 800 grit. We're gonna do another camera check. Oops. And same thing. There is that really bright line there, but there is another line there. It's a little bit more defined. So we are getting more defined features. So we're going to put this back. Churchill Crocodile, hello. Good morning, Pete. I see you're sanding a piece of metal. I give it to you. Yep, that's what I'm doing. I'm almost done, really. This is a lot too. I found this not to be super interesting after I do it several times, but I do like to share a little bit about it. So I just finished sanding with 800 grit. Now we're going to move to 1000 grit. And I just said that you can see the lines be more vertical, and I want them to be horizontal. It is fancy. So I'm just showing the people here, whoever's watching, the change that it creates. So this is 1000 grit that I'm using. And I'm just doing it until I see it change from the previous reflection that it had. And there we go. It's happening. So now we're getting clear spots of the sky, or at least of the very shiny points. Not shiny points, but bright points from outside. And it's not horizontal as much anymore. It's a lot more clear. So that's an indication for me that I've sanded it enough. But I'm still looking at the piece itself. Sorry, I have a bird here. And he's getting tired. So I'm going to flip it because I'm just sanding it in sections really right now because it's a lot easier on me. My job is similar to what you are doing right now, but I sand tank armor instead of little brass metal. That's crazy. Sanding bigger pieces, I guess you're doing it more with, I guess like, not an orbital sander, but maybe you start with an orbital sander and then move on to that bigger sander. I don't know what it's called, but I've seen videos for bigger pieces. Oh, okay, restoration. That's really cool. I like restoration videos personally. I find it very interesting. It's also very informative and knowledgeable. Not knowledgeable, but educational for me. Because there's a lot of them there that I learn in terms of like how to do things in a way that is more helpful for restoration. So there we are. There's a little bit more defined features. It's still a little bit horizontal, but you can see the sky a lot better after we've done 1000 grit. And once again, I'm going to lift this up so you can see the phone reflection. It's a little bit more clear. You can actually see the camera coming in a little bit right there, but it's not quite there yet. Welcome back, Toddlock. So now we're doing 1500. I think I kept calling it 1200, but it's not. It's and we're going in. We are restoring an engine of the McDonnell Douglas SBD 3 Dauntless. I've never heard of that. I don't know anything about planes or tanks, but here's 1500 and there's already a huge change happening. It happens really quickly with just a few passes. Even visually, the highlights and the sky is being reflected in various different areas of the piece now. It's not just centered in those vertical lines that we saw earlier. And that's exactly what I want. And there we are. The lines are now vertical as well. They're not horizontal anymore. So that's a great indication for me to again flip over. And I'm trying to see, because the vertical lines are also coming in already here, but they're going to be a lot more visually there once I sand it. Again, once 800 happens, it all kind of looks the same. It's just the definition is a lot clearer. What's up with you? Are you struggling? There we are. And the lines, the vertical lines of the blinds are a lot more visually there. It's a plane who won the war in the Battle of the Coral Sea and Midway, and it's a legend of a plane I got to say. Parrot kind of, yeah, he's been hearing me talk a lot right now, so he wants to chime in and give his opinion. Anyway, we just finished with 1,500. That's why I want to end the live stream soon, because he'll start sounding like a fire alarm in a minute if I don't move on. So there we are. You can see my phone's camera lens a lot clearer now. And that's with just 1,500 grit. So now we're doing the final grit, which is 2,000. And that's going just, again, erase all of the sand marks that are still visually there. And it's going to just make the image a lot sharper. I do have a bird. His name is kind of funny. Red and blue colored parrot named Little Bastard. I see. What's up with you? Yeah, my bird is a green cheek conure. Hi. What's up with you? Can we not right now? All right. I give him a little bit of a pat so he comes down. But, so he's a green cheek conure. He's like a little bit over a year old. And he sounds like a fire alarm sometimes. When I leave my room, he starts really going after me. He had a really pretty chirp when we first got him. Very quiet, but he does tend to get real loud now and sounding like a fire alarm. That's not a chirp, it's a bark. Hi. He's very, or she, I really don't know. Extremely hormonal because it's summertime now. So not only is he or she a lot more chirpy, but more aggressive nowadays. All right. So that was 2,000 grit. And the camera is there. And this is what the sanding looks from a closer view. It's kind of crazy how much detail it is able to grab. But again, you can see the tree branches and even individual tree leaves. And you can see the blinds perfectly. So we're going to put this back here. And this one's a little bit harder to see the reflection. It's really blending in. But that was that. It's your local Bosnian high-pitched bark for me. We do have dogs, so he might want to. Let's see if he wants me to grab him. No, he just wants to be petted right now. When he wants to be petted, he like really cuddles up to my hand. Or lets his body fall to my hand. Anyway, that was the live stream, guys. I got to sand 2 fronts of pieces for you guys. I hope that was entertaining, educational, in some way, shape, or form. I find it very fascinating. Again, I've shared these sentiments in previous live streams, but I do like showing the process of what I do because it shows people how much work is being put into these. Don't bite me, no. How much work is being put into these pieces. And like even what it takes to make them reflective like this by hand. I do love teaching, and I just hope that by the end of this year, I'm able to do some workshops locally where I live. So I'm very excited about that and looking forward to that if that is even a possibility. I don't know who Jeremy is. Oh, okay. Well, good luck with that tank that you're working on. So the live stream is basically done for now. Let me get these pieces up close. I didn't collect a lot of sand, or not sand, dust. So that might be something that I do as I continue sanding by myself. But these are the pieces that we worked on today. These 2 specifically. And again, you can tell the difference. And when I started the live stream, I showed that this one had been done with 2,000, 1,500. This one hadn't been touched. 1,800, 400, no, 600 and 400, I think. Something like that. So you can, I'm going to change these now. Change these for now. So you can kind of tell the difference here. But yeah, like I said, you can tell the difference between these 2 that have been sanded to 2,000 grit or to a polished reflective finish versus this one that is only, I think, 200 or 400 grit sanded. It's a very crazy difference, but it's what is going to make these just stand out and hopefully will draw people's attention and things like that. I love it. Glad you streamed again. Can't wait to see the next stream. Yeah, I'm not sure what the next stream is going to be. Again, there's only so many sanding live streams that I can do. I think this is the 3rd sanding live stream. I think the first sanding live stream that I did was literally me just getting all of these to be smoother with the 200 grit. And then I did the cat on the other live stream. And then these, again, this is like a repetitive process over and over. So I don't know how much I can really stream. But yeah, if I do end up have like making more of these, I'll definitely live stream the cutting process like I did previously, because I think that's fun. Or yeah, I don't know. Or again, if I end up having to decide on something else that I'll be making, I'll definitely also stream that. And I will for sure stream the making of those boxes. If I do end up making them, I have to do a little bit of research on that if I can make them myself, because I would love to do that. But otherwise, this was the live stream of today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for chiming in and starting a conversation. His buddy also worked on the plane engine. Quite fancy, the mirror. It is really like fun and fancy. But my girlfriend wants a 5 cal bullet from the workshop, then fancy bags like Birkin, something like that. That's fun as well. It's more of a historical thing that some people are into. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining. I'm gonna end the live stream now. Give some attention to my bird here who is literally calling for attention, and I'll catch you guys on the next live stream. I hope you have a great weekend.